Hi, I'm Mark Clegg and welcome to the Lastolite School of Photography and welcome to Pose and Tubs. That's okay, I haven't gone mad. It's the product that we use by Lastolite every day in studio for our kind of family portraiture to allow us to actually build them up on kind of stepping stools, not too much to stand on, but to sit on, of course. They're all based on a Russian doll design, so they all fit in towards each other, so they fit neatly into anywhere in the studio. The product we mainly use for our kind of families where we can kind of sit the different kind of age ranges on the tubs to make sure that their heads are never in the same kind of parallel position, because we want to make sure that the heads are slightly different levels to just give the kind of the form of the pyramid that as a portrait photographer we use as the structure to most of our groups. Today we've got a couple of models in, plus I'm going to bring in the team, if they don't know yet. We're going to bring some of the team in to actually change and build up our own family group, as it were, to give an idea. The tubs consist of a series of 7 within the kit, and they all come in a kind of a carry bag, so if you do want to go out to a client's home or to a venue with them, you can carry them with no problem at all. As I mentioned, they all pretty much just stack in towards each other, so you can pretty much fit them in anywhere we want to go, and that's how cool that is. But the parts themselves will just allow us to kind of really build the groups out, especially if we've got to do very large family groups. We have two sets, in fact, to allow us to actually really stretch the group across a background. So I've put a basic set together now. We've gone into low key. As you can see from me, I'm going to be in black. The stools are in black, so it will really mean that we're going to use a dark background. If we were using the tubs with the white covers on, we'd be in high key, of course. So then we need a lighter and brighter background. For now, we're going to start off with our male subject today, which is Deanne. He's going to come in, and we're basically going to just use the 2 kind of tubs to begin with. However, we will start with a 1 and just show you how introducing the footstool really will actually allow us to actually animate the pose much more kind of thing with it. So we're going to move all these out of shot for now. And let's bring Deanne in and we'll get the shot done. Deanne, come on in for me, brother. So just going to pretty much sit on the edge, leaning forward just a little bit for me, okay? That's great, just there. Straight at me again, that's cool, just there. So you can see there, we've got a nice image. However, obviously the body kind of position, I'm trying to give some kind of strength and animation. Well, I can increase that. Let's start with a small footstool to begin with. I'm only cropping off through here, so I've got no problem, okay? As long as I'm going to keep in the hands and things, really. Just bring that hand back towards your groin just a little bit more, mate. That's good, just there. Straight at me again, that's cool. And of course, you can just see how the difference in the animation now, just with the kind of the cut through. And of course, that's good, whether it's going to be a full length or a 3/4 length shot. And I can go in tighter and tighter with each of those photographs. Now, if we're going to shoot the female, as a rule of thumb, we would turn the body away from the light source. So that's what we need to do. You're going to turn the body around towards here. So a little bit more for me. And if you just stay there for a minute, this is the last thing we ever want to do, okay? We never want to just allow the client to sit. We always want to actually use an edge of the stool, and we also want them to place all their weight onto a hip, okay? It's much better. And this might even be a bit too big, because you can see she's swinging her feet, okay? And that's where, it's not because you're short, it's okay. It's because obviously it's just a bit too high for her. So if you jump off that for me a minute, please, Rebecca. Let me just bring in the smaller one. It's gorgeous. This time, instead of just sitting flat, if you sit onto the edge for me and just use your hand just to here for me, okay? That's cool. It's gorgeous there for me. Cuddling in a little bit. It's that lovely. And Deanne, just lose your left hand for me. That's gorgeous there. Keep it. Straight at me again. Beautiful shot. So you can see there how we can just manipulate the pose to change the look. Okay, so I've stretched the black background out a little bit. The cool thing about having the black and the black tubs, of course, the black background and the black tubs, is that I don't need to drape them across the top because they're going to merge together anyway, so I've got a natural extension to my background. The longer backgrounds here, of course, are great because we've got enough room to actually use them as part of the set and to actually drape across no matter what. I've just put the couple into kind of a little more of a cuddle pose, but you can see with the 3 footstools here, or seating stools, whatever you want to call them, just a little bit too high. So if I just remove one of those a minute, it just allows Rebecca just to lean forward a little bit more. Can you lose that hand behind her? So just in behind there. And you're going to lean forward for me, darling, a little bit. Move across a little bit more. Can you move your bottom across there for me? And just lean onto the side. It's very important at this point. I know it's about the stool, the tubs today, the stools, but make sure the client doesn't sit on their bum, okay, that they really need to sit more onto the hip and things. It's a little bit more uncomfortable, of course, otherwise it just becomes flat flesh, and flat flesh is fat flesh, so you've got to make sure you just pose and animate the client a little bit more with it. So you can see there's absolutely no use for a stool at all, but I'll show you how now. Let's do the one shot first of all. Little cuddle. Deanne, turn the head again for me. It's gorgeous there. Watch now. We just used the little raising tubs, and we use them. You're going to lean on there for me, darling. If you move out there a little bit more, move your bum out there a little bit. It's gorgeous there. Deanne, come around and just cuddle. That's good. And now you can lean in towards each other. Instantly now we've got a kind of a cover. Let's do the shot. Just 1 second. Brilliant. But now we'll just cover them over. And the cool thing about here, and just cheat, just bring that cloth around. You just pop your hand on top. Lean in again for me. It's great just there. Very nice. Just lean away just a touch with the bodies. A little bit more. Let's go. Just lean your head a touch, darling. That's gorgeous there for me. Excellent. And one more. Happier. Fake it more, Deanne. Go on, you can do it. Relax. So you can see how we just corrected that pose with a simple use of the tub, but not as to sit on, but to lean upon. So when we're tending to use the clients on the floor, we tend to use the tubs as the posing kind of extension instead of as the main kind of prop. But remember to try and formulate the idea of the pose before you try and get the client there. Otherwise, it's pretty much you make it up as you go along. So have an idea of the structure. As you can see here, I've still maintained those eyes and not on the same level. A little lean with your head, turn your nose around towards here, that's gorgeous. Eyes at me again, and that's cool. So look, they're a little bit close together, that's all that is. So there's no kind of there's no movement there, they can't lean in towards each other. So it's just that little bit of space. And it's nice when they want to get it close to each other, but on the other hand, it can make a posing job a little bit more difficult if the clients are just too close. So we brought some of the photo training for you family in as well as our model. Sorry about that, you've just grown in kind of your family here. And you can basically see at the start a structure to the group, trying to make sure the most dominant person within the photograph, me, is obviously the biggest, the more kind of dominant. But it might be a grandfather, and if it was a grandfather, of course, then he'd actually take the highest stool, and we still base the group around it kind of thing with it. So first of all, we got Deanne. Deanne's obviously sat on the edge of the large stool. He's got his foot on 2 razors. Then we've got Rebecca. She's just on our kind of second stool down. Debbie is sharing the stool with Deanne. That's the same one, okay? Are you on a razor there, Deb? Yeah. Let's have a look. It's because she's short, so Debbie's on a razor as well, just to change those head heights. Carl's pretty much in the wrong place, but we'll keep him there for now. Carl, you just need to turn your body around towards here a little bit more, because he's basically much bigger, perspective-wise, than Becky is. So we'd usually swap those around. And if, obviously, we're trying to keep the couple together, we'd swap the kind of the changeover and kind of thing with it. And we've got poor old Helen on the left-hand side here. Helen's just on the one stool, but she's using that main tub to lean upon. So you can see how, in fact, how that one tub is being used by 3 people to create the photograph. Here we go. Who's there? Look towards Mark. Who's there? Good girl. And that's how you put a group together. Think about what you're trying to achieve. Think about where each person can be positioned to, and then you can get the kind of the main structure of the group before you even do anything else. But you've got to be able to use the kind of the positioning to really kind of move into that group. So even though I'm stood up here, I need to actually change my position to obviously complete the group. And what we're looking for is that triangle. So if we all lean in towards the middle, all heads in towards the middle a little bit more, I can't see from the front anyway, but that's our next kind of shot. Trying to make sure that any hands are not really visible here because they're going to spoil it. So we've used all 7 of those tubs, because we created a nice little group there. And you can see if I had to do a double or a triple the size of this group here, well, I'd need a second set of tubs. So let's go now on to a high key and see how we use them in that set. Thanks, guys. So we're on the high key set now, and of course one of the cool things was the covers. Remember, the black cover is fixed. So that doesn't come off at all. It's the external covers, the supplementary covers that they do, which are great because not only are they white and allow us to use these on the high key set, but they're also washable. Go on, fake it more for me. So you can see there, a simple shot, just one for the client to sit on, another one for the feet. Great for young kids as well. I don't encourage a child, and you shouldn't encourage kids to stand on them. They're really, really safe, but again, it's just trying to be common sense as much as else. Here, if I shoot the horizontal, I've got a load of wasted space off to left and right. So this is the shot where we're bringing more dynamics in, where we're going to lean, but also it's our vertical image. So it's understand when you kind of use the pose and the pose in tubs, how you're either going to stretch the image or it's going to be tall. Right, let's go for a lean-in one. If you jump off there for me, please. And let's just bring it into the kind of leaning onto the foot kind of thing with it, the John Wayne effect. All right, just the kind of the really leaning on, you know, give us my beer. So just have that little bit of a lean. And of course, the same thing applies, just as we just did. The same pose will work in a different way and give us that kind of different animation. We're going to have to choose the right stool, though. That's okay, but let's try the other one. I think the other one will be more comfortable. You just turn that around. Remember the seam here? You've always got a seam for the back seam, okay? So put that at the back. That's better. Straighten me again. And swapping feet there for me. Turn the body. That's great. Excellent. Stay for me again. Relax. And when we're storing them, basically in studio they would just stack in Russian dolls way. But when we're packing them away to move on to the next location or popping them into the car, they basically just fit inside each other. Not forgetting the little ones, of course. All fit in nice and square in that. And then just popping the bag on. And of course, once they're in the bag, we're ready to move on to the next location. So I'm Mark Cleghorn for the Lastolite School of Photography. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.